Okay. And if you can't hear me, let me know. Hey, this is Kat, and you are now attending the Hyper LinkedIn lead generation on LinkedIn and how to get started to grow your business. So a little bit about me. I have over 30 years experience as I don't know, a mentor, coach, sales trainer, and entrepreneur. And so I feel like I can officially call myself a serial entrepreneur because I've started a couple business now. And I think the one thing that I am happy to share with anybody is how I grew my business using LinkedIn and how I use the connections that I have to set up appointments and to get connected with the people that I want to engage with. And that's what you're going to learn here today. So at the end of the day, this really is to leverage what you're utilizing and how you can get some momentum off of LinkedIn. So a few things I'm going to run through with a few slides is, what is the difference between marketing and lead generation? Well, marketing is broad. Marketing basically is getting your name out there, who you are, what you do, and how to get a hold of you. It's extremely broad, and it's usually to your audience, but your audience is broad as well. Lead generation is extremely targeted. If I had to kind of use a metaphor to describe the two, it is the shotgun, right? Against the single shot gun approach, right? The shotgun is like sprays everything everywhere. That's marketing for the broad audience. And then where you have a single shot rifle or gun, where you're going to get that particular target audience, you're going to pick them off one by one. And so that's the big difference between marketing and lead generation. The opportunity for you is that nearly 40% of small businesses do not have a presence on social media. Believe it or not, they don't have a presence at all. And this is all social media. And what's even more concerning is that 16% of respondents claim that they don't feel like they need to utilize social media in order for them to grow their business. So they're just that much against the social media environment, which is unfortunate, but that just means that the marketplace is more open to our business or your business as opposed to your competitors, right? LinkedIn is the second most popular platform among B2B marketing, just behind Facebook. And this is a quote or a statistic from the Social Media Examiner. 4 out of every 5 B2B marketers use LinkedIn, compared to 91% of B2B marketers who use Facebook. That puts LinkedIn ahead of Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, which are all used between 50 to 60% of B2B marketers, respectively. So I really love this statistic because LinkedIn was known as a recruiting site, as an employment site, and it now has the leverage because of all these CEOs that are on it. It has this authority, this leverage to really get in front of decision makers in order for you to grow your business. And it's just about targeting those decision makers in order to grow your business. So right now, as it stands, only 14% of businesses use LinkedIn to develop business or to try to grow their business on that platform versus 61% on Facebook. So there are still a lot of people that utilize Facebook that feel like that's where their marketplace is, whereas LinkedIn is still the newcomer and it's still untapped. I always say untapped. People think it's tapped out. It's totally not tapped out. It is untapped. And because so many people don't understand and see the value in using LinkedIn in order to target their decision makers, that makes it way better for you and I. Okay, why LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a professional social network that is respected and used by over 830 million users. And a lot of these users are decision makers, CEOs, owners, partners. So those titles that we all need to get in front of. Networking facts. And this is really good. And I can see this happening more and more. According to the Tech Journal, 40% of people say they network online rather than in person. So that is really compelling in regards to the direction that we're going in. Some more networking facts. It's more about finding ways to help people and give to people, and then the reverse will occur. So basically, when you engage with people, networking, and you meet them, you're trying to find out, like, how can you make a connection so that there's a mutual benefit for both people. It's not about the power sell, the pounding, or the pouncing. None of that really is going to be an optimized way to work within LinkedIn. You really need to create a virtual networking atmosphere and get to know these people one-on-one after that. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So LinkedIn networking actually does work. It's so, I tell everyone it's so easy, but yet some people complicate it and make it a little more tougher than what it should be. So the first thing you need to do is you need to know who your target audience. That is so important. This is not going to work for you if you don't know who your target audience. And when I say your target audience, I'm talking about the title, geographic, category, business, all of those line item things that can really have you drill down who is your target audience. And this target audience is not who you ideally want. It's the person who buys from you. Who is this person? You can have a second target audience of your ideal target audience, but you definitely want to have a part of your mix, the target that is buying from you. And then what is your strategy going into LinkedIn? And how are you going to engage every prospect? And then follow-up is huge, because follow-up is part of closing. So let's talk about knowing your audience. So knowing your audience, again, like I said, is you have to recognize and understand who they are by their avatar, right? Like what is the title of that person? Who is this person? Are they more likely to be male or female? Is there an age demographic for this person? Is it title driven? Is it a category of business? Is it a geographic area? All of these parameters need to be part of when you're creating this persona or avatar of who your target audience is. And the more that you can drill it down, the better. And you can have more than one target audience. So, but when you do create more than one, don't mix them all in one. Create one of, this is this profile. This is the target audience for, let's say, the CEO profile that I can go after. And maybe the second avatar target I can go after is the director of sales, So make sure that you don't bundle them all in together. They are separate and individual, just for the sake of it working for you, okay? And then what are your expectations? You always need to know what your expectation is going into this program, or going into any program. You want to know your expectation. So is the expectation that you're going to get, I don't know, 10 appointments a week? Is the expectation a certain revenue dollars per month? What is the expectation? So understand what the expectation is, write it down, and become familiar with it. Is it doable? Don't set yourself up for failure. If you're currently not doing, a certain revenue amount, and now you expect it because you're using LinkedIn, that's unrealistic expectations. It has to be a percentage and doable. Let's say that the connection part of it, or how many appointments you get. If you're not currently doing so many appointments now, and then you expect to probably grow it by 10 times, is that really realistic? So what are the expectations? You've got to write that down and understand that before you really go in guns a-blazing. Okay, LinkedIn is free. It's absolutely free. And it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And depending on who your target audience is, the ROI, return on investment, could be quite huge if you're working this properly. If you're not, and you're like going all over the place and making all kinds of messages and not really focused, then this is going to be a complete waste of your time. So make sure that you're going to put the time and energy into it and not just go, and excuse my language, half-ass, because half-ass is not going to get it done. You've really got to put some thought and a strategy into this when you're going into using LinkedIn as a lead generation program. So a couple things that you'll need to be prepared for, or at least know going into this, is you want to be consistent. You want to manage your time. You want to set goals. You want to hold yourself accountable, or hold whoever else is accountable that you're going to train to do this. You've got to manage those expectations, create the strategy, understand what your ROI is, and how are you going to measure that? Who is your audience, your target audience that you're going after? And then how are you going to measure this? How are you going to make sure that this is going to pay off for you, right? The time and energy, or if you're paying someone. So the first thing you want to do is document all your numbers. So if you're doing this yourself, you want to make sure you document your the number of followers that you have, and you want to document how many profile views are you getting, how many post impressions, how many search appearances. All of these numbers are so important, because if you have movement and you document this, then you're going to know that the ROI is already paying off, because exposure is what you're getting in the minutia that you're doing. Okay. And exposure is a great thing. Okay. Optimize your profile. The first thing you want to do when starting to use LinkedIn as a lead generation program is you've got to optimize your profile. You want to make sure that the profile is set up and so optimized that when you're doing these messages, you're doing these connections, you're doing all of these congratulations and things that I'm going to walk you through, that when someone checks you out, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I need to talk to Kat, because, oh my God, she seems like she's a very important person, right? And that's what you want to do, is you want to make sure that you're optimizing a profile. So when someone checks you out, they know exactly what you're doing, and they can get a hold of you, and they can actually do something with you. And they're not guessing. And a lot of times, I'm sure you've seen those profiles where you've checked them out and you're like, what is it that they do? And I know I've seen them. So some of the optimization things that you should be aware of as you're optimizing your profile is you want to make sure you have a beautiful profile picture. And I always tell people, put a white background, because then you really pop. And you can remove, you can use Canva and put yourself on a white background, or you can remove the background somehow in Canva and use that. But especially if you have other things on your picture. So I am a big believer that a clean profile picture is the first and foremost to get you to stand out. Okay. And when you look at that profile picture, again, I suggest a white background. And then your banner has a lot to do with when people connect, they're going to understand and know what it is you do. So make sure that your banner is very clear on what you want someone to have the impression of you. And I always tell, we work with a lot of business coaches, speakers, and authors. And if I was an author, I would put my book here. If I was a business coach, I would put my certification here. So you want to really validate. This is kind of like your billboard, right? Your billboard, when people come land on your page. So make sure that that's clear and nice and pretty. And then the other thing you want is the title underneath your name. This is really, the typical person is going to put, senior VP of whatever, or CEO and founder, or, the standard titles. Don't use the standard titles. People don't want to see your standard. Optimizing your profile means remove those standard titles and really convince someone the problem that you're trying to solve. Let them know the problem you're trying to solve, and let it be very clear there. And then let them know what you want them to do next. So see, at the end, I say, follow me to learn more free tips. I'm telling them what to do. I could have said, connect with me or book a free consult. And there's so many things I could have said there. Okay, so just make sure when you're optimizing, you are really optimizing that little blurb under your name. You have a chance to pick hashtags that relate to who you are and what your business is. And then you also have an opportunity to put a hot link under your name. And so this is new, it's important. And you can even put a title there. If you didn't want to put the URL, you could say, book your free consult or free business value, whatever it is. You could have put dialogue instead of the actual URL. So you have the option to do that. And so this is all part of optimization. And this is all part of that. So let me go to the next one for the optimization. Okay, the other thing you want to optimize is you want to make sure that your profile has a specific name. If you have numbers here, you should edit it and change that to be your name in some version of your name. And if it's not available, you've got to figure out how you're going to make that your name. Okay. And then you can have up to 3 website links. I say maximize it. If you don't have 3 websites, then put your calendar link. If you don't have a calendar link, then put your, oops, that went ahead. Then put your Facebook page or your Twitter page or whatever it is that you want to use to maximize that. But you can have up to 3 links. Use them, maximize it. Why is my computer going crazy? Oh my goodness. Okay, then you have a phone number, address, email, and then your birthday. Make sure all of that is in there because you want to use every opportunity for engagement. And we're going to get into this as we go further down. And I got to make sure that. Okay, now I want to turn. Okay, you can have up to 3 features that show on your profile. And so my suggestion for any business owner is make sure that you pick the 3 that are going to profile either 3 of your best services or your mainstream services or whatever it is that you're trying to push at that time. So you can have up to 3. And notice I have my 3. And then that is always going to be featured on your profile. And it's really a great way to use as a selling tool. Okay. This is one of my favorite features on optimization for LinkedIn is the about me part of it. So you're going to see on everybody's LinkedIn that you can see like up to the first 3 lines. Those first 3 lines should be compelling. They should have some kind of call to action. And on mine, you can see, follow me. I help businesses stand out and grow. Do you need leads to your inbox? I apologize. I don't know why this keeps jumping around. Do you need leads to your inbox or do you need help branding? I can help. Book a free consult today. That is a hyper lead generation call to action. That's what you want. So you want the URL. You want to tell them what to do. You tell them the problem you're solving. You're telling them how you can solve it and then what to do. That's what you want. Okay, so let's see. Let me keep going along. Okay, so in your About Us. And then the other thing you want to do with your About Us is you want to make sure, I'm so sorry, I don't know why this is jumping around so badly. The other thing you want to do in your About Us is you want to make sure you populate every piece of word count it has. And I want to say it's like 2,000 word count. So use every ounce of it and really populate it, because that's really going to help you optimize it. And at the very end, you can see I put call to action, call to action, call to action, what I want them to do. I start with my call to action. I go into the meat of what my business is all about. And then I do call to action, call to action, call to action, call to action. There's so many call to actions there. There's no way that they can escape me. The other thing you want to do for optimization, and a lot of businesses don't do this or don't even recognize that this is not optimized, is your first listing of where you are today should be your present listing. It should be very clear, and you should have a business page for your business, and you'll know if you have a business page if the logo shows up. Okay. But the other thing is, again, if I hit see more, I have maximized my word count there too. So just make sure that you're really optimizing this, the first experience that you see here. All the other ones you can, I obviously optimize all of them, but this is the one that's the most important, is the one that they first see. I have run into clients that have hired us, and the last thing they show is an employment they've had 2 years ago, and then their business falls under that. And so people are going to question that. They're going to be like, are you working somewhere else, or are you really a business owner doing this full time, you know? So think about that when you're doing that. Okay, recommendations. This is another way to optimize your profile. Make sure you're getting people to endorse you. First of all, you want as many endorsements as you can. The max, of course, is 99 on each one. So make sure that you get endorsements, and you can get up to 50 skills and people can endorse up to 50. And then make sure you're getting recommendations. And recommendations are just like reviews on LinkedIn, Facebook, Yelp, any of the other platforms. These two things are going to help optimize your profile. These things, of course, are going to take time. So you just work on it. You create it as part of your plan. Okay, so you want to have a process in place. You want to know in your sales cycle, you know, what is the process? How do you attract someone, convert them, close, and delight? Make sure that you understand this process and it is in place, that you understand the process for someone to do business with you, okay? And everybody's process is different. And so you just want to analyze and make sure you personally have a process in place. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, so before we go into the nuts and bolts of getting leads to your inbox, I need you to understand big picture what LinkedIn is. LinkedIn is a huge networking party, a huge networking party. If you think about when you went to a chamber event or a BNI or any of these other social networking events that are like face-to-face, LinkedIn is the same way. It is a virtual networking party, a huge one. And you can narrow down that virtual networking party by the titles and category of business and geographic. So that's how you narrow that down. So when you think about, let's use the chamber events as a hypothetical event, a networking event. When you go to the chamber event, you're prepared. You get your business cards, you know the people that are going to show up, and you probably pick out like 3 or 4 people that you're going to go and talk to at this event, so you can capitalize on some opportunities and maybe partner or work with them or try to get them as a client. When you go to these events, you know, you're going to walk up to someone and you're going to say, hey, my name's Kat and I'm with, you know, advertising #social buzz. What do you do? And, you know, they'll say who they are and what their name is. And they'll talk about their business and you'll ask them some questions. And then you're thinking in the back of your head, you're like, Sarah, we really should have some coffee. I think we have a lot in common and we should really sit down and meet and really talk about the synergy we have, right? That's how typically it happens, right? So LinkedIn is the same way. You're not going to go into LinkedIn and start messaging people, guns a-blazing, boom, boom, boom. Hey, I'm Kat. I have #social buzz, $99 a month. First 30 days are free. Can I sign you up? Am I going to do that at am I going to do that at a networking event? Hey, I'm Kat Ramirez at #social buzz. It's $99 a month. How can I sign you up right now? No, no. And you got to think about the networking that way, because how you do it in person is how you need to do it in this virtual networking environment. So please keep that in mind. How you do it in person is exactly how you're going to conduct yourself in this virtual space. Okay? So please keep that in mind as you're thinking about these strategies. Okay, so before we start talking about the messaging and inboxing, you do want to create some posts. You do want people to know who you are and what you do and how to get a hold of you. So my suggestion would be to start posting content to your social media. You want to create a content calendar similar to this. And you can, by all accounts, use this, and it just creates a cadence for your strategy. And this will help all the people that you're connecting to understand who you are, what you do, and how to get a hold of you, because they'll start seeing your posts. So you want to create this cadence. So let's say that you are targeting small business owners. And so your motivation would be directed to small business owners. Please make sure the content matches your audience. Let's say that your Tuesdays are tips and you want your content to be geared to small businesses. And let's say it's me and I want to teach people some tips on social media. Then my tips would be to small businesses about social media. And then let's say Wednesdays you're selling your service. You pick one part of your service and you sell it. So if me, because we're a boutique marketing agency, I'm not going to talk about lead gen, social media, and websites in one post. No, I'm going to pick one and I'm going to talk about it on Wednesday. And then maybe I'll rotate it and talk about something else the next week. And then let's say Thursdays is a video, blog, or article. Then you put it out there. If it's your original content, that's awesome. If it's not, then find some credible content on Forbes or Business Insider or something that you can share that is relevant to your audience, that aligns with your business. And then Friday, let's say you do a poll. And I'm going to tell you, polls are incredible on LinkedIn. And absolutely the thing to add in your marketing mix, no matter what day you pick. Okay. So ideally you want to do 5 days a week, but very minimum 3 times a week. Okay. Minimum 3, ideally 5. If you do 3 times, you're good to go. If you fall off the wagon and you're doing 1 time a week, that's okay. Get right back on and make the goal 1 time for 3 weeks, and then do 2 times for 4 weeks, and then get back to 3 times. And then if you can go further, great. But ideally, like I said, 3 time minimum, 5 times, you're the king or queen. Okay. The other thing you want to do is make sure you create 1 post a week that's a call to action for your business. That's telling people what to do. Now, I would not necessarily put the link in the body because, again, some people say that there's rumors that social media doesn't like links. Well, a lot of posts have links because that's how we share articles. So, I think that's kind of a myth, because I do put links in my posts and I still get the same engagement and the same views. So you just take it with a grain of salt. If you feel like that's going to prevent you from getting any views or any engagement, then put the link in the first comment and state, join Kat as she walks you through the 10 things you need to know before selling business. Click on link in the first comment. That's what you would do. Okay. So there's ways to get around this. And again, you just want a selling post and you want to make sure you're compelling and it's to the point. Okay. And there's some kind of call to action. What do you want them to do? Okay. So if you want to deliver posts that are engaging, you got to do videos. Videos are the most engaging post on social media, and super engaging, or even more so on LinkedIn. So the more original content, the more videos that you can post, the more that you're going to be rewarded for that post. Now, LinkedIn, the reason why is, remember, it's new to the market as far as social media. So it needs original content to circulate in its platform so that it engages people and keeps people there tuned in. That's why it's great to upload your videos. Don't put links, because the more that you can have it organically on LinkedIn, the better for you. So engaging posts, videos for sure is number 1. And as you can see, and this comes from YouTube, not from LinkedIn, video viewership is way more engaging than any other type of post. Polls. I told you I would come back to polls, and now I'm going to tell you about polls. Now, if you can see how polls is effective, 94 votes, 2,900 impressions that people saw this and were intrigued by it and read it, and then 24 comments in regards to this. So if I highly recommend one poll every week. You got to do it. And it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be like so work related. It can be casual and a side note of an extension of your work. Okay. So experiment with it, test it. That's what I would do with the polls. The other thing you want to make sure that you are responding to engagement, any and all engagement, as you can see on this post, which is this video here. It got 422 likes, 73 comments, and over 713 views, which I'm sure that has probably more than triple by now because it's been circulating for so long. But make sure you're responding and thanking people, because the algorithms are going to be in your favor if you respond to comments. You've got to, a lot of people believe that they drop the first comment and that helps other people engage and interact. So just know that if someone is interacting, make sure that you reply to them. And a simple thank you for commenting is good enough. You know, you can be more elaborate on the people you know and less on the people you don't know. But gratitude, you know, thank the people that have commented. At the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're trying to become an expert and a resource to gain authority on LinkedIn. That's all you're trying to do, is become an expert and become a resource. The more that you're an expert and become a resource, the more likely you're going to convert business, right? So, okay, so now review notifications. So notifications are in LinkedIn. When you see that there's a little notification blurb up here, this is just the notification page I'm on, and it gives you a laundry list of things that are happening, right? And so when it says, you know, wish these people happy birthday, I go in and I do happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Sometimes I customize it, especially if I know the person. If I don't, I'm just going through it and saying happy birthday to everyone. And then maybe it says, congratulate these people. I go in and I do all the congratulations. The reason why is I'm trying to get engagement. So I'm going to do all the notifications that LinkedIn is asking me to do. So do all of the notifications, because all of them are relevant and all of them is trying to prompt some type of response. That's all it's trying to do. And you want that response. You want your connection to respond to you. Okay, so now we're talking about messaging. Now we're talking about how are we going to convert these people? How are we going to get appointments, right? Because this is the whole ball of wax here. This is why you're here today. You want to find out, how am I going to convert these people, Kat? How am I going to get these appointments, right? And it's all about replying to messages. So you're going to go through your message box because you're going to have a lot of activity. You're going to have a lot of where you said, you know, happy birthday, congratulations. And the easiest way to sort through your box is look at who spoke last. Okay. Always go through and look at who spoke last. And then all the people that they said, thank you, Kat. Oh my God, that's an opportunity to set up an appointment with Eric Ramirez. He said, thank you. The first thing I would do is I would look at his profile. I would see, is he my target audience? Is he the title of the person I'm prospecting? And if he is, let's say that he's small business owner for a roofing company, then my response to his thank you, Kat, would be absolutely. And let's say that I congratulated him or it was a happy birthday. Let's say it's happy birthday. I'd say, absolutely. I hope you had a fabulous birthday. And hey, I see, by the way, I see we've been connected for a while. We should have a quick chat next week to get to know each other. We've been connected for a long, long time. Do you have time next week for us to have a quick chat? Let me know some days and times that you are available. That's what I'm doing to close Eric Ramirez And my close is to book an appointment. Okay, that's my close, is I'm going to book an appointment and I'm fishing for a response. That's what I'm doing. And that's why I do all the engagement that I just did. So let's talk about what you need to have in place, what strategy you need as far as your game plan when you're messaging people, because we're still in messaging, right? Keep it simple, keep it stupid. I do a connection message for every connection. I write a message. I want them to know I personally wrote that out. My message to them is very, very short. It's one line. That's it. I don't write a long paragraph or a history about me. I say something very simple and very stupid. And then let's say I say, hey, Mike, it looks like we're both CEOs. I thought we should connect to see how we can help each other out somehow. Very simple and very stupid. Or it could be, hey, Tammy, it looks like we have a lot of common connections. Let's connect. I believe that we could possibly network and get to know each other and see how we can help each other out. Very simple. Keep it stupid, keep it simple. Okay. The goal again is you want engagement. You want the person to say, sure. You want the person to say, thank you. You want the person to give you some kind of response. That is the goal, is you want engagement. You definitely do not want to sell. Please do not sell. I'm going to give you an example of why you don't want to sell. Okay. If you physically came to my home, okay, you came to my home and you knocked on the door and I opened the door and I said, oh, hey, Jerry, thanks for stopping by. Do you want to buy this box of cigarettes? Do you want to buy this miracle cream that's going to make all your wrinkles go away? Do you want to buy this social media package so that we can post to your business every single day? It's $99 a month. First 30 days are free. You don't say that to people when they come to your home, right? You don't come to the door trying to pounce them and throw all this stuff at them. That's the same thing if you responded to someone and wrote someone a message and said, hey, I'm Jerry and I sell this. I'm a business leader and I'm a business coach and I've got 20 years experience and I'm going to help your business grow its profits by $75,000 without spending a dime. Well, how do you know they want to grow their profits? So that's a lot of assumption, and they're not going to hire you if they don't respect and know you or understand, or even you don't even understand their business. So that's the wrong mentality. So again, I emphasize, do not sell, do not sell, do not sell. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to network and connect, and you're going to nurture all your connections and you're going to convert them into clients, and you can convert them to clients. It will happen. You just have to be patient. Too many people want instant gratification. And a lot of times clients hire us and they say, well, we haven't gotten any new clients. And well, we booked 10 appointments for you. It's your job to convert them. And your job to convert them is to get to know these people and see if you can solve their problem. And then you're going to solve their problem and convert them into clients. So again, don't sell, don't sell. It is one of the biggest mistakes you can do. And a couple more bullet points: compliment. The more times you can compliment someone, the more times that you can easily get in front of that person. I compliment as many times. And this is why the happy anniversaries, congratulations, all of these tactics work. People want to be recognized. All kinds of people want to be recognized. And the more that you can recognize them and do that, the more that you're going to get an engagement and a response. And that's what you're trying to do. And again, just like I told you with the connection message, you want to find common attributes. You want to find commonality so that you can bring those out in your dialogue and conversation. So again, what is your strategy going into LinkedIn? Because it can't be selling. You can educate and you can offer free things and invite people to participate in free things, but you don't want to sell. Okay, you do not want to sell. So understand and know what your strategy is going into this. And by the way, speaking of workshops, workshops work. So if you want a lead generation product or a component to your LinkedIn connections and messaging, workshops are an awesome opportunity to tie that into LinkedIn and create an event on LinkedIn and put your Eventbrite link there. So they must RSVP, they have to register in order to be a part of your workshop. But it's a great way to get leads of people who are interested in that subject that you put out there. So keep that in mind as you're working on your LinkedIn strategy. Okay, so how many messages and how often? Okay, so let's talk the statistics and strategies here. You can make up to 100 connections a week, and that is it, 100. And make sure that you document and you keep track of that, because if you go beyond the 100 a week, you will get pinged. LinkedIn will ping you. And a lot of times LinkedIn is going to test you and it's going to say, how do you know this person? You have to click another box. And it's doing that because LinkedIn is not like bots. And there are a lot of automation tools, I call them bots, that are out there that are being used on LinkedIn to do the sequence messaging and pounding people. And so that's LinkedIn's way of preventing those bots and those automation tools, is because every so often it will say, how do you know this person? And you have to click one of the boxes, and a bot's not going to do that. Okay. So make sure that when you're making the connection, it's targeted, it's to your target audience, and it's limited to 100 a week. That is it, 100. So don't just start connecting to anybody. Make sure it's your targeted audience. The other thing that you want to do is you want engagement. So you're responding to the messages, right? Because you're fishing for engagement. You're doing it, congratulations, happy anniversary, whatever, blah, 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 because you want that engagement. You want them to say, oh, thank you, Kat, or, oh, well, you know, I got this new job and this is what I'm doing. They're going to say, they're going to reply. People are compelled to reply. And you're going to say, awesome. That sounds fantastic. Let's have a virtual coffee chat. I'd love to learn more. And that's authentic. It's real. And you want it to flow like that. You want it to flow authentically and real so that you can book that appointment. And in that appointment, you're going to do a discovery. I'm going to walk more through this in the next slide or two. So I don't want to go way too in it. Okay. But you're trying to book the appointment, because in that appointment is you're going to get to what you're trying to get at. Okay. So connections 100, trying to get fishing for engagement. That's how you're messaging. And then the call to action offer. Your call to action offer, CTA, is booking that virtual coffee chat, is getting in front of them. That's it. Your call to action is you're selling an appointment. That's it. You want to get in front of them. You're selling an appointment. You're not selling your services. You're not doing any of that. You're selling an appointment. That's it. Don't sell anything else. You're just booking some time. Hey, when are you available next week? Monday or Tuesday? I'm open from 2 to 3. You know, you're selling that appointment, and keep it at that. Okay. Okay. So some tips for meaningful connections. Of course, you're going to prep your space and your tech. You want to make sure that if you do a virtual call with someone, that it's not going to get disruptive and you're not going to get cut off. Okay. So make sure that you prepare for these meetings that you set up, these virtual meetings. Make sure your video and background are working. Make sure that you look your best and you're smiling, and you know that you have this great first impression. That's what you want. Make sure that you sound right, that there's no popping sound, the mic works, and everything's a-okay. Do your research on your prospective client. Make sure you look at their profile. Make sure you refresh yourself on your dialogue with them. Okay. And my first conversation, and this is part of the trying to build a rapport, when I connect with someone from any of my connection meetings, I say, hey, where are you at? I always say that. Yeah, sure, I can find it on LinkedIn, but I want it as part of the conversation. And they'll say, oh, I'm in California. Where are you, Kat? I say, I'm in Wisconsin. Can't you tell? Look at my wood grain background. It's a log cabin. So, make fun with it, build rapport. Your first 5 minutes is about building rapport. It's the small talk. It's the chatty stuff that you want to do. And usually starting off with, where are you located at? That usually helps, and it just softens everything, and it gets people primed to start talking. And then after that, I start asking about, well, tell me about your business. Tell me how you got started. I'm curious to learn. And then I shut up and I listen, and I listen very well. And that's the key to your success, is to listen, to shut up and listen a lot more than talking. You should not be talking more than them. If you're talking more than them, you're selling, and that's not the goal. You want them to talk more than you. And so you want to make sure that you ask the right questions to get them talking, and you build this rapport, because this is your first impression. This is it. And you ask them all kinds of questions about their business. You prime them for your solution. I always ask, so what are you doing to market your business? And they'll start talking. And I'm like, what's your biggest challenge in marketing? They don't know I'm trying to prime them for my solution, but I make sure I ask the right questions. And then after they've talked, then they usually will say, Kat, what about you? Tell me about your business. And they just teed me up, because I'm going to go in for the close. That's what I'm going to do. Now I can sell. I can do whatever I want, and you can do whatever you want. This is your opportunity. If you built that rapport, if you got at what their problem is, and you're like, I have a solution, and you're thinking that, this is your time to bring it out. And so I'll say at that point, oh, Rebecca, thanks for asking. As a matter of fact, I do marketing. We do two things very good. We do social media management and lead generation. And so let me talk to you about how we do the two, because they're very different and they're very distinct. And then I'll explain the two programs, and I'll talk about pricing. And then they'll ask me questions. And then now I know I've engaged them. When they ask you questions about your product, good, or services, you've engaged them. You've engaged them. If you don't close them after this, I am going to come over this Zoom call and go bah, bah, smack, smack. Once they start asking questions, you've engaged them, and this is the win. Okay. So should you do a Zoom call, phone call, or face-to-face? Zoom is my preferred, because you've got to look into the eyes of the person. You're going to build more rapport when you can look into the eyes of the person. And if you're talking to people across the US or globally, there's no way you're going to be able to do a face-to-face. Zoom is going to be your option. And then phone, I will tell you, I very rarely have a phone call. If I do a phone call, it's because the other person is technically inept and they can't do Zoom. So that's the only time I'll do a phone call. Although I will tell you, phone calls will not fail you. Zoom calls are preferred. That's my preferred. But people still get a good sense of you on a phone call, if that's your comfort zone. But I promise you will close more business on a Zoom call, because people like to see people's face and eyes, and they're more likely to agree with you and do something with you if they can see you. It's just a natural human thing. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're planning. One of the major things that entrepreneurs or startups or consultants fail to do is follow up. Follow up is key. Once you have that conversation, right? You've had the conversation through your LinkedIn messaging. You ask for a quick coffee chat. You set up that meeting. You got it booked. You had the meeting. And then they were interested and they said, hey, send me some information. That would be great. And if you don't follow up and send the information or give them the next steps. This is great. Hey, Sarah, it was so great to talk to you. Per your request, here's the information on lead generation. This is why we do what we do and we're great at it, and boom, 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 boom. This is what it costs. This is your next step. If you're interested in moving forward, reply all, I'm ready. That's my follow-up email. I would suggest you do the same. Make sure that you are going to convert that person. Make sure you're doing the right things to get them to go to the next step. Okay. And if you don't hear from them after that, then yes, you need to follow up again, call them or reach out via LinkedIn or via email and say, hey, Sarah, it was great to talk to you 2 weeks ago. Just curious where things are at. Are you ready to move forward? Are you interested in having another call? Let me know what your thoughts are. So make sure that you're prepared not only to follow up once, but multiple times, because the reality is it takes 8 to 10 touch points for someone to make a decision. If your product is so compelling, it might be only that one follow-up. And I'll tell you, most people sign up after my follow-up email. So you can get it to that place. You just have to make sure that you're perfecting that strategy. Okay. Okay, there's so much more that you can do. I promise. There is so much more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. But this should get you started. This should get you appointments in your inbox. I promise you, if you do the strategy that I just walked you through, you will get appointments in your inbox. Just know that business development is about developing relationships. LinkedIn is about relationships. Business development is about developing relationships. People buy from people they like and respect. Keep that in mind. People buy from people they like and respect. And you're building that authority on LinkedIn and with all your connections. So people buy from people they like and respect. Keep that in mind. Okay. Once again, business development takes discipline. You've got to stay at it. I spend an hour a day every day in my LinkedIn. It's a part of my strategy. If you want a good business development plan, you've got to put it on your calendar. You have to make it part of your strategy, and you have to be disciplined. And my team work on our accounts that we have as clients 1 hour every day, every 5 days a week. It is part of the strategy. You've got to do that. If you're not committed, if you don't do this consistently, it's not going to work. You've got to be committed. You've got to do it consistently in order for it to work. So you basically have 2 options to get consistent leads to your inbox. First, you do it. You pound the pavement. You're going to do all the work that I just walked you through. It's all you, 100%. You book that 1 hour every day on your calendar and you get it done. The second option is you hire or pay someone to do it. So if you are so exhausted with your time, then you hire someone to do it. If you have the means to hire someone, by all accounts, hire someone and have someone else do it for you so that you ensure that it's being done. There is no third option. If you are not doing business development, you're not going to get anything in return. You're not. It doesn't just automatically, magically come to your inbox. Not going to happen. You've got to be consistently filling that pipeline. So when do you stop developing leads in business? Well, the day that you want to close those doors, you stop doing it. That's when you stop developing leads in business, because you have to account for attrition. Everybody gets attrition. And so you got to account for that. Okay. So when is it time to hire someone, you ask? Maybe you are asking, I don't know. When your own work is consuming you and all of your time and you can't do it. If you can't do business development, it's time to hire someone because it has to be done. Or if you feel like that what you're doing, your lead generation efforts are not working, it's time to hire someone. It's time to put an expert in place to generate those leads for you. Never wait till it's too late, because you don't want to wait till it's too late and it's the last moment to develop leads. And then by the time you convert it, it's time for you to close the doors. That's not the best time. So this is the end of our workshop. And if you have any questions, Jim, definitely reach out. Or if anybody else is tuning in and have any questions, just make sure you reach out to me. Book a free consult, ask me, questions, send me an email, whatever the case might be. I'm here to help any way that I can. So I appreciate you attending. Thank you so much. If you need anything else from me, connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. Again, I do put out free marketing tips and sales tips on LinkedIn so that I can help anybody that is out there trying to grow their business as well. And I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day. And as I close any of my videos or training sessions, you got this. Thanks a lot. Bye.